In the investigation into who killed Tupac here in Vegas in 1996. The only man currently facing murder charges in the case, Dwayne Keefe Davis, claims that Sean Combs, also known as Diddy, paid for a hit on Tupac. According to court documents, Davis made these claims in separate interviews, including one with Metro Police, suggesting that Diddy paid Eric Von Martin $1 million for the killing.
Girl, the tea is scorching today. The FBI just dropped a bombshell, declassified documents linking Diddy to Tupac's shooting. And honey, this isn't just street talk. These are legit FBI files. I can't spill it all at once, but the names involved: Diddy, Tupac, and some shockers you'd never guess. This could change everything we thought we knew about that night in hip-hop history. Like, rewrite the history books big.
They were saying the feds are so deep and involved in this that Diddy just might be called up on that Tupac shit once they go through the money trail. Once they go through the money trail and find out why certain people was given certain positions, that it may be a problem. Because they're going to look at all that. Anything they can bring up, they're going to bring it up.
Wow. So you think it's possible that they might pit Pac murder on Diddy?
Yeah. That's why that tape of Cassie was released. So anybody who was willing to try to help him, anybody was trying to say that he ain't capable of doing this and he ain't capable of doing that, they got it right there on videotape.
But you being around at that time, right? Because you was working at Bad Boy at that time when, you know, the whole Pocket Big thing was going on. You personally, do you think they can get Diddy on Pac murder?
Well, they always said something about $1 million check, and nobody knew where the $1 million came from. Puff may have said it in a couple of rap songs and things like that. But they would have to trace the check back to if that check Eric Von Zip had. And I'm not going to say the person who they said they gave it to because I've said it before. And I told people who contacted me that I would bring old boy name up on there because of situations that he's having in the federal government right now. So if they trace it back to Eric Von Zip and say, why were you on, and he's dead now, but they have to explain why did he was able to get some publishing money or some kind of deal off the sale of Black Ground Records, and they put him as Tank manager or Tank something for Tank, this, that, and the third. Why did they do that?
Yeah, I got you. And when you say check, right, just to get some clarity for the people that don't know what you're talking about, you talking about the $1 million check, right, that they put on Tupac to get him killed, the hit?
Yeah. Yeah, what I'm talking about is that if Puff has said on a couple of records that he'll pay $1 million to, you know, but he was just talking to people randomly. So now everybody said that, and Keefe D said that Puff told them that he'll give him $1 million. Now, do we believe that? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't. Because it was situations whereas that it could have got done by certain people that was around them, but it didn't happen. So when Zip came up with the check for $1 million, he said it was from Black Ground Records. And he said that who he got that money from. So now, if that's true, then the feds would have to go in and do a money trace on where did that check come from. And then they're going to say, why? Why was that check given to Eric Von Zip or Eric Zip Martin or Eric Martin why did that check was given to him, and saying that he had something to do with Tank, and he sold the company, which wasn't all his company anyway, for $1 million.
Did the FBI just change the game? These declassified files are spilling serious tea on Tupac's shooting. Locked away for years, they're now naming names, including a surprise no one saw coming. This isn't just about who pulled the trigger. It's about money, power, and shady deals. The FBI was connecting dots between the East Coast-West Coast beef, record labels, and underground players. It's like they had the whole chessboard mapped out.
Everybody knew that Puff took Tupac blueprint and changed Biggs and Bad Boy in image. I Get Around talked about how fly you was, how many girls you mess with, how many cars you drive, how much money you got, what you willing to do. He took his image. Pac was the first one on the scene wearing Versace shirts. He went and got the same Versace shirts Pac had. Which, all right, some dudes would do that. You would never catch me wearing something else, something that somebody else got. He was knocking down all the women that he thought Pac was knocking down. And what I mean is having sex with them. Why would you want to have sex with women you know for sure a dude that was once cool with you was dealing with? That's that image. Because you got to realize, bruh, Puff and Pac was cool at one time. We know this. Mopreem said that they was going to sign the Bad Boy. So if he's going to sign to Bad Boy, it was because of Corey and them. I put that picture on the internet. I put the picture on my channel of Corey Jones. Is Corey Jones, Corey Jacobs? I think Corey Jacobs and Pac right next to each other. Those was the real bad boys of Bad Boy. You understand? Those are the one who got the 16 to life sentence. That Pac was going to go and be with them first. But then Mopreem said, when it became just Big and Puff, because Corey then went to jail, he changed his direction. But nobody know why Pac and Puff fell out like they did. You understand what I'm saying? Nobody know why. But Puff had an obsession with him for whatever reason it was, because he started wanting to act. He started wanting to rap. He had an obsession so bad that at his Grammy Award winning speech, he used the same speech that Pac used. That shit is crazy. So when I say I'm obsessed with talking about Puff and telling y'all the truth, who's obsessed with who? Pac had Sarah before Puff. Allegedly, he had Sally before Puff. And Kim had an obsession or liked Pac so much, she on the red carpet with Tupac's shirt on.
I know what you're thinking. What about Diddy? Girl, these documents paint a picture that'll have you questioning everything. Was he just unlucky? Or is there more to his story? The FBI wasn't playing. They dug through phone records, bank statements, and followed the money trail to some places that'll make big industry names nervous. But here's the kicker. This isn't just about that night. The files go back weeks, even months before, tracing the chain of events leading to Vegas. We're talking secret meetings, threats, and shady deals.
Yeah, so to answer to your first question, how I feel about Puffy, I'm going to be very honest about my response. I have a lot of respect for what Puffy accomplished in his career.
It's very difficult for a black man in America to accomplish the heights of success that he has accomplished. So I respect that. In a way, I respect his accomplishment, his climb up the ladder for what he was able to achieve. You know what I mean? You got to look at that and you got to say to yourself, wow, you know, that's admirable to come from nothing and be able to achieve what you achieved as a black man in this country. I know how hard that is, so I respect that. Now, to answer your question about that, first of all, I feel like there is truth to everything that everyone is saying around Puff. I feel it's not a lie. I feel that there's some truth to it because remember, I was around Pac during that time. You know what I'm saying? And I seen how things was transpiring. So I believe that there's some truth to it. That, yes, in fact, Puffy was intimidated by Pac. You know, he felt like Pac was someone he was threatened by. You know, because look, dude, if you know Pac, you know, if you someone like a Puff, you would be threatened by him because every time you see Pac, he got a gun, like he got 2 or 3 guns, and he's like blatant. Pac is a dope dude. Don't get me wrong. He's not a bully or nothing like that. He's a funny guy. He's a nice guy, generous guy, peace-loving guy. But he wasn't having it. You know, he just wasn't having it. So I can see why Puff might have felt threatened by Pac. I can see it. So if it's true that what everyone is saying, Keefy D, everyone coming on these podcasts, the storyline about Puff paying whoever to do whatever, you know, with Pac, if all that is true, like I said, he needs to be held accountable for it. He needs to be held accountable. It has to be accountability from him for his involvement in getting my cousin killed. I try to keep my personality out of it because, like I said, I'm not in that space anymore where I wish harm on someone else. I just don't feel like that anymore. But I do feel that he has to be held accountable if it's true. And I think there's a lot of truth to what has been said so far.
Now, let's address the elephant in the room, Diddy. For years, he's denied any involvement. But girl, these new FBI documents are painting a very different picture. What if the king of hip-hop has been playing us all along? Since Tupac's shooting, Diddy stuck to his story. I had nothing to do with it. But these files suggest otherwise, hinting that he knew more than he let on. Secret meetings, phone calls, and shady dealings before that night are all coming to light. Sure, Diddy's always claimed he loved Tupac, but
I think the problem with what's going on with the Vegas PD, why they're stuck in that part of the investigation, is because they can't, I think it's money, but also it's because they can't find a corroborator with Keefy D's story. If they can find someone close to Puff that can say, yes, everything Keefy D just said is true, then they have a corroborating witness. They have a corroborating witness that can say that this guy he swears that based on what Keefy D said, this is true. If they don't have anybody that can corroborate Keefy D's statements as it applies to Puff, then they really not going to have Puff lawyers. Puff is wealthy. He will have lawyers that is tear that up, those accusations up, because there's no corroborating evidence.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Right. The only reason why they didn't arrest Puff yet is because they don't have corroboration. Now, on the other hand, this is just a guess, my opinion. I think that Puff is being investigated. I think that they're waiting, or they may be waiting for an opportunity for him to incriminate himself, just like Keefy D did. You know, probably on the phone though, like on a wiretap.
No, they arrested Puff. He went to jail right after Keefy D, early in the morning, but they said it was for a traffic ticket.
Oh.
But he went to jail. He got taken in down in Miami.
Did you go to jail for a traffic ticket?
No, but they said it was for a traffic ticket. But he did go to jail, get turned in, and he does. I mean, when you put $2 million on a person's head, you really that dude's too powerful. You can't fight with money like that. How you gonna? Pac couldn't beat that. $2 million on his head. What the hell could he have done to anybody to make him put $2 million on your head?
But that's a good point, though. I do believe that when you say that they probably got him wired, or they probably looking at his checks and stuff to see if he slip up and say something. That'll make sense too.
The reason why I think that is because there's too much chatter. There's too much chatter going on. You know, you got this guy, Keefe D, who made a deal with the LAPD to tell what happened so that he don't have to do time for a drug case that he was facing life for. Right? And he was very, very forthcoming with the information, right? And even though he implicated all the people that was in the car with him and Puffy, the people that was in the car with him are dead. They're dead anyway. So there's nothing that can happen to them. But Puff is the only person living that has something to do with that. You got to think why he's not being arrested or even at least questioned. And that's why. He's rich. He got a lot of money.
He's a gangster.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's a gangster. But if they had a corroborating witness that can say, yeah, you know, Puff said this to me. He said this, and I swear on a stack of Bibles, he said it. That will be a...
Diddy's team is in full damage control, calling the FBI documents lies, but the fact they were locked up for so long has people suspicious. Word is Diddy shook. He never expected these files to come out. My source says he's been making late-night calls, trying to see who else is named. But here's the kicker. These documents don't just cover that night. They reveal rivalries, secret alliances, and shady deals from the entire hip-hop scene, with Diddy at the center. Sure, he's built an empire, but can we really separate the man from his past? This could change everything, his reputation, business, and friendships. And if he's been hiding this, what else is he keeping under wraps? Something tells me this is just the beginning.
Who's obsessed with who?
So you believe Diddy, he only got with Sarah Chapman because Pac, he had her at one point.
And it was a bet in the office. Sarah was messing with an NBA basketball player. Puff bet all the niggas didn't believe that he could get it within 2 weeks. $100. So she actually was a $100 bet that he got.
And who was the NBA player?
I think it was Gary Payton, allegedly. That's what he said. Somebody said, she messed with Gary Payton? I bet you I get it. I bet you I have it within 2 weeks. Me and him and Sarah went to this party in Chicago that he was hosting with the Streets Entertainment. And we went to the store called Cranberry and I forgot Cranberry, and it's one of those stores like you get fragrance and you get candles, colognes and stuff like that. It's called Cranberry and something. And from that point on, yeah. But you gotta realize Misa and Kim was friends. Misa and Kim was friends. He started dealing with Kim over Misa. Kim and Sarah was friends. I mean, hand to hand, pots and pans. They was close. They all used to, Sarah, Kim, and this other girl, I think she was from Atlanta. What's her name? It missed me right now. But they all used to hang together. So then he went from Kim to Sarah. He like to do the friend thing. Look like that.
Now here's the real tea. Eminem just dropped a surprise track with lyrics hinting at hip-hop royalty with blood on their hands. And we know who that points to. Legal experts say these FBI docs could reopen the case, meaning Diddy might end up in court. And if he falls, who else might go down with him? Rumors are swirling about a domino effect exposing more big names. Even Drake's gone quiet, canceling appearances, while Kendrick Lamar announced a new album titled ** Unfinished Business * with a blurred FBI doc on the cover. This is
not to disrespect the women that's in here. I was young, dumb, and full of cum. I didn't give a fuck. You understand? And I was smart enough to know that I better vest the fuck up and know if something go down, I may have to handle something. I may not come back home. I was just that dumb because I didn't have to be there. I chose to be there. But then again, I was told something that didn't happen. We're not going nowhere. We're not going to no parties. We're going to do the Soul Train and we're going to do studio. So to get off a private jet or a regular plane and go straight to the hotel and just go straight to the studio and go straight to Soul Train, I thought that would be cool to make the money. You understand what I'm saying?
Good plan.
But that wasn't even the situation. Me and Puff went to a lot of parties and a lot of places that Big them never showed up at. The only time I seen Big them was at the studio and Soul Train. You understand?
Yeah.
So it was dangerous, it was idiotic, and it was crazy for us to risk anybody's life for being in Cali at the time.
Around the time when Pac was actually killed, did Puff exhibit any kind of weird behavior or maybe any kind of guilt?
I didn't see Puff exhibit any of those feelings. How do you give a fuck about your enemy?
Well, one would say if a man is not as tough, he might feel like shit. Somebody might know. Somebody might tell.
Tell what? Know what?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's not a question.
We heard of, and I'm gonna throw his name out there because he's arrested right now.
But check it out. Don't brain wrestle with me, man. If you gotta say something, say what you gotta say. Yeah. Do what you gotta do, man. You know, this is your money, your time, bro. Come on, let's do this.
Keepy D was arrested. There was words of $10,000 that was supposed to get in somebody's hands for when Tupac was murdered.
$10,000.
Let's just say
I ain't heard that story.
Yeah, I might be off on a number, but amount of number was supposed to get in somebody's hands, but it didn't quite make it there. And this is through the Keefy D Vlad series, to where anything that, as far as again, not saying who was what, but because that happened, because Tupac was murdered, that some money was to be exchanged. It didn't happen. Did you ever hear any rumblings of someone didn't get paid?
No. Not at all.
How did it feel? How did Puffy react when Biggie was killed?
He was distraught, but he was in a daze, because I don't think that he thought it could happen. Because I told him before we left, if we go to this party, somebody gonna die tonight, bro. I got a phone call. I got a phone call by 3 credible sources. You understand? Right. Chaz Williams over Black Hands, part of the Guerrilla Black Mafia. Unique from Mecca Audio. And the dude that was running with Jodeci now. Now, if people tell you they're not going to a party, and it's supposed to be the lit party of the century, You see Mace didn't show up at the party. Because he knew something too. And where I could say Mace knew something because the people out in California, when Mace went to basketball game, they told him, we want Puff and we want Big. See, everybody do all these investigations and everything like that, and they don't listen to the people who were there. Like I said before, there were people who wanted Big dead, and there were people who wanted Puff dead. You get it?
Right.
The people that wanted Puff dead, you understand, I thought was a dude from the Nation of Islam that we got into it at Soul Train, right? The people that thought they had something to do with Big Jake dying, which they didn't. That was a part of Death Row or the Bloods. Then you got the guys that Big, what was called the Dog Pound, the guys with the Dog Pound when Big was out there. He was in New York, and the Dog Pound was in New York doing a video.
Yeah.
Big made a phone call to the radio station. I don't know why they aired that shit today and said, yo, New York, y'all let the Dog Pound be in Red Hook and do a video. So now they want Big head. Yeah. That video shoot got shot up, bruh. Them bullets ain't have no names on it.
That's a Snoop Dogg video with Dog Pound in New York, New York.
Right. So you understand what I'm saying? All those people and the people who love Pac, when Pac came up there, they thought Big and them may have had something to do with that or whatever. So that's 5 different factions of people that may wanted somebody dead in Bad Boy. So now you get to this. Puff know what Mace told him. Mace ain't tell Big he had that conversation with Big. But I had a conversation with Big and them about coming around anywhere we go. Don't come to no parties, don't come nowhere. Cause it's like that.
And just cause I don't know the full story, but Mace said he was with Brandy, the singer? Or is this Brandy somebody else?
Mace said he was with Brandy, the singer. I was in a hotel room with Mace, with Brandy.
With Brandy, yeah.
Okay. So if you was hotel room with Brandy, why did you make the statement, Brandy called me trying to get me to go to the party? So was she next door to you? She was next to you, y'all both on y'all cell phones and shit? And she said, yo, Mace, we ought to go to the party. He said, Brandy, I'm not going to the party. If you with her, you got to watch what people say. I'm not saying he wasn't with Brandy at some time, but was he with Brandy after Big got killed or before Big got killed? And this is the biggest party in the industry, the Vibe party, sets the Soul Train after party.
Someone says Diddy set up Biggie to get killed. What do you say to that?
I actually thought that he put Big in a situation and thought that the individuals who was gonna come to do something to Big would have did something or try to do something to Big. I don't believe, I'm trying not to believe that he had anything to do with Big's death. I think that the people who was trying to kill Puff killed Big.
Girl, let's dive into what this means for Tupac's legacy. These FBI documents are flipping everything we thought we knew about the king of West Coast rap. If Diddy was involved, it changes our entire perspective on Tupac's life. Was he just caught in a web bigger than himself? And those conspiracy theories about Tupac still being alive? This news is making people rethink everything. The streets are buzzing that this could just be the tip of the iceberg.
So after that, some time passes, Puff still lives. Are you shocked that he still was able to continue to thrive and grow? after so much animosity was being presented towards him?
Well, Puff was built for that. You understand? Puff's mother trained him to be a superstar or in the industry, whether it been a model or a dancer or singer or whatever like that, whatever his talent would have been. So for him to come back from there, I think that he had no other reason. He had to. He had the blueprint. Big had gave him the plan.
Gene, let me ask you, are you surprised that, we're about to have a trial with Tupac's murder, but Biggie's murder is still unsolved, may go unsolved? Are you surprised with that?
No, I'm not surprised because the LAPD has suppressed all the evidence and they know who killed Big already, brother. I have not told a lie. When I tell the people that they had the picture of the Muslim, me and Puff in the same picture, you understand? Walking up to Puff van, but they had his face distorted. They know they got those pictures. The FBI agent, Phil Carson, said he saw the same picture. Then when he went back to review it, the picture was gone. See, they didn't know who they was dealing with. They didn't know that I had a memory like a fucking elephant and I was not gonna forget anything that happened. I wrote that in my second book. Exactly what went down during that interview. You got people around here telling lies. This is the guy he picked. No, I don't. Run the tape. The tape will tell you, they asked me, do any of these guys on this photo look like him? And I said, nah. He said, anybody look close like the guy, something like that on this photo? I said, he looks something like him, but it's not him. That's what I said. Anytime you do a lineup and you point somebody out, what do the cops make you do? They make you initial it or sign under the picture. Correct. That you said that. They seen a circle, say, this is the one he picked. No, I didn't. Not one of the detectives who was on that thing said I picked anybody in the lineup. I just said he looks something like him, but it's not him.
Damn. It's crazy because, documentaries come out. I know police have spoken, and it's one of those things to where we might get some, I don't want to say closure, but with Keefe D coming up, that might open up light to Tupac. I'm just curious. We're about to fast forward to what Diddy got going on. Gene, you started talking about, let's say, a few years ago, about just your life in the industry. Are you concerned about the feds wanting to come sit down and talk to you about, hey, we need you as a character witness about some situation that may have happened back, during your heyday?
Some situation back during my heyday.
Yeah, they want to talk to you about things you may have seen.
You have to be more Pacific than you are, sir.
Let's get to it. The feds want to ask you certain questions about what you may have seen, and they want you as a character witness to speak on and testify against Diddy.
To testify against Diddy?
Correct. About what? About anything you may have seen. No, not even testify yet. They want to bring you in for questioning about what you may have seen. Is that a thing?
What I can say to you, sir, is that being an officer myself, they don't bring you in to question you about what you may have seen. They question you about what they already know you have seen.
That's the feds.
And what you say. You know what I'm saying? So it's no way I would know that. You understand? But what I can tell you is that, can Puff be erratic? Yes, he can. You've seen that. Can he be, does he have a monstrous behavior sometimes? Yes, he have. You've seen that. You understand? Can he be threatening and abusive? Yes, he can. You've seen that. So, bro, I went on MTV in 99, VH1 in 2001, 2011. Everything that y'all just now hearing, I've been told it to them. I've been said it. They got tapes, and they could go back and say, well, he didn't say that. He didn't. They got 5 hours. Y'all getting an hour. They got 5 hours, brother. Do you understand what I'm saying? Both of those places, VH1 and MTV. I was in the Silhouette because I was working still as an officer, and I didn't want to lose my job. When Miss Wallace brought me over, Puff told her, I don't know Gene Deal. I told Miss Wallace everything till she was crying and told me to be quiet. She didn't want to hear no more. About the night her son died and what was going down and what I told Puff and what I said to Big, the whole 9 yards. How I pulled him out the car, all that. So, bruh, this is nothing new to me. This is just post-traumatic stress that I constantly live through. And I talk about it to get over it and get me through the night. I'm not a drug abuser. I'm not a drug addict. You understand? I'm not an alcoholic. It's a good thing that I found.
Girl, let's dive into what this means for Tupac's legacy. These FBI documents are flipping everything we thought we knew about the king of West Coast rap. If Diddy was involved, it changes our entire perspective on Tupac's life. Was he just caught in a web bigger than himself? And those conspiracy theories about Tupac still being alive? This news is making people rethink everything. The streets are buzzing that this could just be the tip of the iceberg. What other secrets might be lurking in the shadows of the music industry? So how do you feel about this? Will it change how you listen to Tupac or Diddy? Drop your thoughts in the comments because we need to discuss this.